Deborra-Lee Furness has finally broken her silence on Hugh Jackman's wedding. For 27 years, Deborra-Lee Furness stood next to the most beloved man in Hollywood. She was there before the fame, before Wolverine, before the Oscars, hosting and the Broadway standing ovations, and the $100 million paychecks. She was there when Hugh Jackman was nobody, a 25-year-old kid fresh out of drama school, standing on his first professional set, nervous, unproven, and completely unknown. She was the star, he was the newcomer, and she chose him anyway, even when people told her she was making a mistake. 27 years later, their divorce was finalized on a Monday in June 2025. And within months, the man who had spent nearly 3 decades telling the world that Deborra-Lee was the love of his life was reportedly planning a wedding with someone else.
Deborra-Lee.
Hi, wow.
Nice to meet
You're
you.
something.
Huh? You think I'm going to share that with you all?
Love is not enough. It's not always enough.
When sources close to Deborra-Lee were asked how she felt about watching Hugh and Sutton Foster together in public, the answer was 5 words that cut through everything. A real kick in the teeth. If you want to understand why those 5 words carry the weight of an entire marriage, you need to go back to 1995, to a television set in Melbourne. To the moment a woman who had already built a career looked across a room and saw a boy who had not yet built anything at all. Deborra-Lee Furness was not some unknown actress who got lucky by marrying a movie star. Before Hugh Jackman existed in any public conversation, she had already won Best Actress at the Australian Film Critics Circle for her lead role in the 1988 film Shame. She had trained at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York. She had worked on Falcon Crest in the United States. She had come back to Australia and built a reputation as one of the most respected actresses in the country. By the time she was cast as the lead in the 1995 television series Corelli, Deborra-Lee Furness was a name people knew. But here is why that matters. Because what happened next on that television set would shape the next 3 decades of both their lives. Hugh Jackman was nobody. Corelli was his first professional acting job out of drama school. He played a prisoner. She played the psychologist trying to help him, and according to Jackman's own telling of the story, the attraction was immediate. He later recalled the moment she took off her sunglasses and introduced herself on set. "I like this girl," he remembered thinking. But Deborra-Lee was not as sure. She was 13 years older than him. She was an established actress. He was a student who had just graduated. The age gap bothered her, not because of vanity, but because she had been around long enough to know how the world treats women who love younger men. She knew what people would say, and she was right. People said it for years. She actually tried to walk away from the relationship early on. She told him the age difference was too much, that it would not work, that people would never stop talking about it. And Hugh Jackman, 25 years old, with nothing to his name but talent and certainty, talked her out of leaving. He told her he did not care what anyone thought. He told her she was the one. Within 4 months of dating, he proposed. They married on April 11, 1996, at St. John's Church in Toorak, a suburb of Melbourne. She was 40, he was 27, and for 27 years, she walked red carpets, knowing that every tabloid was comparing her face to his. She got older in public, next to a man the world called the sexiest alive. She read the comments, she saw the headlines. Every woman over 50 knows what that feels like. The quiet cruelty of being measured against a version of yourself that no longer exists. Deborra-Lee lived that in front of millions of people. And through all of it, Hugh Jackman told every interviewer, every audience, every camera that pointed at him, that she was the greatest thing that ever happened to him. On their 25th anniversary in 2021, he posted old wedding photographs with a caption that read, "From nearly the moment we met, I knew our destiny was to be together. In our 25 years, our love has only grown deeper. The fun, excitement, and adventure more exhilarating, the learning even greater." He called being married to her as natural as breathing. A woman reads words like that, and she believes them. Not because she is naive, because when a man says them publicly, repeatedly, for a quarter of a century, you take him at his word. You build your life around those words. You make decisions based on those words. You turn down opportunities. You move countries. You raise children. You age alongside someone because you believe what they told you was true, and then one day, it is not. After they married, Deborra-Lee and Hugh tried to have children. They tried IVF. If you have never been through it, it is hard to explain what it does to a woman's body and to her hope. The injections, the waiting, the quiet bargaining with the universe every single morning, and then the miscarriages. Not one, multiple. each one a small funeral that nobody else attends. Hugh later spoke about it publicly. Deborra-Lee did not. She carried that grief the way women of her generation often do. Not because they do not feel it, but because they were taught that some pain is private, that you hold yourself together in public and fall apart in the shower where nobody can hear you. When the biological path did not work, they adopted their son Oscar. He was born in 2000. Their daughter Ava was born in 2005. Hugh said that when Oscar arrived, all the heartache just melted away. Deborra-Lee became a passionate advocate for adoption reform in Australia, working to change laws and reduce the stigma around adoptive families. She did not just become a mother, she became a voice for every parent who built a family through love instead of biology. For 2 decades, the Jackman marriage was held up as proof that Hollywood love could last. They walked red carpets, holding hands. They spoke about each other with genuine warmth. Hugh credited Deborra-Lee with grounding him through the chaos of fame. She was not the celebrity wife standing in her husband's shadow. She was the woman who built the foundation he stood on. But somewhere, something shifted. And looking back, the signs were there before anyone wanted to see them. In February 2022, Hugh Jackman began rehearsals for the Broadway revival of The Music Man alongside Sutton Foster. The show ran for nearly a year, closing in January 2023. During that run, according to multiple sources and later reporting by US Weekly, the relationship between Hugh and Sutton became what insiders called Broadway's worst-kept secret. Cast members reportedly saw them hugging for extended periods backstage. Sutton told interviewers that one of the best parts of the show was the pre-show ritual she and Hugh shared every night, where they would just talk and catch up on our day. Whether it was a full affair or something that lived in the space between friendship and betrayal, Deborra-Lee felt it. Sources close to her later said she believed there was an emotional affair, even if it never became physical during the marriage. And for a woman who had spent 27 years trusting one man completely, the distinction between emotional and physical does not matter as much as people think it does. Betrayal is betrayal. It is the turning away that breaks you, not the specific direction someone turns toward. In April 2023, Hugh posted a wedding anniversary tribute to Deborra-Lee. In May, they attended the Met Gala together. They smiled for the cameras. They looked like what they had always looked like. And 4 months later, on September 15th, 2023, they released a joint statement announcing their separation. We have been blessed to share almost 3 decades together as husband and wife in a wonderful, loving marriage, it read. Our journey now is shifting, and we have decided to separate to pursue our individual growth. That is what they called it. 2 people who had been inseparable for 27 years, who had adopted 2 children together, who had weathered miscarriages and fame and the endless scrutiny of being a public couple, reduced their ending to 2 words that sound like they came from a corporate retreat. If you have ever sat across from someone you loved and listened to them, use careful, rehearsed language to explain why they are leaving, you know exactly how hollow those words sound. You know that individual growth means I have already decided, and this is the version that makes me look reasonable. For nearly 2 years after the separation, Deborra-Lee said almost nothing publicly. She focused on her children. She attended a screening of her film Force of Nature: The Dry 2 in May 2024. And when a reporter from People magazine asked what the past year had taught her, she gave an answer that was simple and devastating. That I'm strong and resilient. That is not a woman celebrating her freedom. That is a woman telling you she survived something. Meanwhile, Hugh Jackman's relationship with Sutton Foster moved from rumor to reality. In October 2024, Sutton filed for divorce from her husband, screenwriter Ted Griffin, after a decade of marriage. In January 2025, Hugh and Sutton were photographed holding hands in Los Angeles. They were official. Whatever had been whispered backstage during The Music Man was now walking down the street in broad daylight. Sutton Foster is 49. Deborra-Lee is 70. And if you think age is just a number, you have never been the older woman watching your husband start over with someone younger. It is not jealousy. It is the specific, quiet devastation of realizing that the life you built together was not enough, that all those years of loyalty and sacrifice and showing up day after day could be replaced, not by someone better, just by someone newer. On May 23, 2025, Deborra-Lee filed for divorce. Not a joint filing this time, hers, and 4 days later, she broke her silence in a statement to the Daily Mail that was nothing like the polished corporate language of the 2023 separation announcement. "My heart and compassion goes out to everyone who has traversed the traumatic journey of betrayal," she wrote. "It's a profound wound that cuts deep. Betrayal." She used that word deliberately. Not disappointment, not sadness. Betrayal. A woman who had waited nearly 2 years to say anything at all chose the one word that could not be misunderstood, but the financial details of the divorce tell their own story. The divorce was finalized in early June 2025. Reports indicated they split a fortune estimated at $387 million, including properties in Manhattan, the Hamptons, Australia, and England. 2 days before filing, Deborra-Lee had paid $11.7 million to acquire their Manhattan penthouse outright. She was not leaving that marriage without a roof over her head that belonged to her and her alone. And then, before the ink on the divorce papers had fully dried, the wedding rumors started. Reports surfaced that Hugh proposed to Sutton Foster during a New Year's vacation in Costa Rica at the end of 2025. Sources said he could not keep the engagement to himself, telling friends about it, even though Sutton's own divorce from Ted Griffin had not yet been finalized. By early 2026, entertainment outlets were reporting that the couple was planning a small private ceremony in New York with Ryan Reynolds as best man and a guest list stacked with Australian celebrities. No prenup, according to insiders. Despite a fortune built during a previous marriage, Hugh Jackman reportedly does not want a prenuptial agreement with his new bride. That is the detail that has to sting the most. 27 years of building something together, and now he is ready to do it all again without even the basic protections that experience should have taught him. Unless the lesson he took from his first marriage was not about protecting assets, maybe the lesson he took was that he never needed to worry, because the woman he married would always put the family first, even when he did not. When sources close to Deborra-Lee were asked about Hugh parading his new relationship in public, the response was blunt. Seeing them gallivanting around was a real kick in the teeth. Not anger, not bitterness, a kick in the teeth. The kind of phrase you use when something hits you in a place you were not expecting because you thought you were already past the worst of it. And now comes the book. Multiple outlets have reported that Deborra-Lee Furness is shopping a tell-all memoir about her marriage and divorce. There is reportedly a bidding war among publishers. Hugh was warned early on that this might happen, that every high-profile divorce produces a book offer. He had hoped she would turn it down. She did not. Sources say Deborra-Lee has been keeping what insiders call a divorce diary, and she intends to stand up for herself in her own words. Hugh and Sutton are reportedly not happy about it. One source described the book as being done out of spite. Spite? That is an interesting word to use about a woman who stayed quiet for 2 years while her husband's new relationship played out in tabloid headlines. A woman who raised 2 children with a man, weathered miscarriages with him, moved across the world for his career, defended him against every rumor and every cruel comment about their age gap, and was rewarded with a joint statement about individual growth while he was already halfway out the door with his Broadway co-star. If Deborra-Lee Furness writes that book, it will not be out of spite. It will be because she spent 27 years building a story with someone, and he changed the ending without asking her. The least she deserves is the chance to tell her side. Here is what I keep thinking about. In 1996, Deborra-Lee Furness was a 40-year-old actress who had already proven herself. She married a 27-year-old kid with nothing but potential, and she spent the next 3 decades watching him become one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. She could have resented his fame. She could have competed with it. Instead, she supported it. She was the foundation. And when he outgrew that foundation, he did not renovate. He walked away and started building somewhere else. She once said, during the early years, that people told her the marriage would never last because of the age gap, that he would leave when he got famous, that a younger man with that much charm could not possibly stay with a woman 13 years older. She proved them all wrong for 27 years. And then, on a Monday in June 2025, they turned out to be right. Somewhere right now, Deborra-Lee Furness is living in that Manhattan penthouse she bought with her own money. The children are grown, the tabloid cameras have mostly moved on, and she is sitting with a truth that millions of women over 60 know but rarely say out loud. That you can do everything right, you can be loyal and patient and strong. You can build a home and raise a family and stand beside someone through every single storm, and it can still not be enough. Not because of anything you did wrong, but because the person you trusted decided they wanted something else. Deborra-Lee Furness did not lose a husband. She lost the argument she had been winning for almost 3 decades. And if that is not a kick in the teeth, nothing is. We covered Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster's full relationship timeline in a previous video. If you missed it, that one is on your screen right now. Because what happened backstage during The Music Man explains everything that came after.